Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, are vision boards an effective tool to motivate a person to reach her financial goals? If so, what's the best way to create a vision board? Okay, so I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible. I am personally not a vision board person. However, I have seen vision boards work for some people, and I've seen vision boards not work for other people, for most people. And for the people it works for, I'm going to talk about personality type, and I'm going to talk about the specificity of their vision boards and how it works for them. So we hear about vision boards, and I think not every, but a lot of self-help books say, oh, create a vision board as if it's going to somehow magically transform your ideas because you took them out of your head and created it on a board into some magical accomplishment. And, we have to get rid of magical thinking and understand the real science behind it. So each of us have a modality to which we have an affinity for. So for instance, some people have an affinity more towards auditory. So they affirm the world auditorily. They learn auditorily. They navigate through the world primarily using the sense of auditory. So if they hear something over and over and over and over, it tends to stick for them. It also tends to motivate them. So for a person who has a predominance towards the auditory, mantras, right? Positive self-talk, just affirmations, those type of things work well for a person who navigates the world with the primary modality of being auditory. So they listen to audio books as opposed to, reading or watching a video so much. And so for that person, a vision board is not necessarily the best tool to drive them forward, to make sense of their vision, to stay on top of it. That's not going to be for them. You also have people who, like myself, our primary mode is kinesthetic tactile, meaning how it feels and tactile and movement. So for me, action, right? So if I talk, I move my hands. Action. So if I write, I take meticulous notes. I take notes all day long. I don't ever have to go back to the notes. I don't have to look at the notes again. I just have to anchor things in with an activity. So if every morning I take a walk, I walk 5 or 6 miles, and I make sense of my thoughts and my goals by walking, right? So for me, writing, walking, doing a physical activity, because I'm a kinesthetic tactile person, that's my modality. That's how I navigate through the world. That's how I learn things. That's how I express things. That's how I stay motivated through physical action and how that makes me feel. So vision board doesn't work for me either. But then there are some people whose primary modality is visual. For those people to extract the idea out of their head and create a vision board of it, a visual representation of their thoughts and their goals, and to have that visual stimulation in front of them every day to anchor it in, to keep them focused, a vision board can work. But it doesn't work the way most people use it. So if you're a visual person, I say that a vision board is a phenomenal tool for you to clarify your vision, to anchor in your vision, to lock in and stay motivated every single day to see it, to reinforce your vision. However, there is work that has to be done first, and then there's work that has to be done after as a result. So a huge mistake that people make. All right, so it should be very specific. Your vision board should be very specific. So, and what do I mean by that? You should have short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals on your vision board. And you should have sections for that on your vision board. It should be very specific. For example, I see people on their vision board will put a pile of money. That's not very specific. What's a pile of money? How much money is a pile of money? And how do you plan for a pile of money? No, you have to have a very specific dollar amount that you can create a visual representation of. It has to represent something very specific in order for you to create a very specific plan of action following the vision board. It has to be measurable. You have to have some way of saying, I'm making progress, right? So your vision board still has to be measurable. What's a pile of money? I don't know. Again, if you have you could have a number. It could be 5K, right? That you could put 5K, and you could be represented by a race, 5K race, the race to $5,000, right? And then it's very specific. It's also measurable. But the other thing is it has to be achievable. I see people putting on vision boards. And again, to plan properly, you have to use second order thinking. So here's where I'm going with this. I see people putting mansions and yachts on their vision board. That's not second order thinking, because you're not thinking about what comes. First of all, I don't know why you think you want a yacht. If you've never been on a yacht, if you go on one once, go, lease some time on a yacht and see. But you're going to have to pay docking fees for the vast majority of the year you're not using your yacht. You're going to have to pay a crew to take care of the yacht and to captain the yacht for you. Fuel, maintenance, just all kind of other stuff that goes along with a yacht that's not on your vision board. So it's not, again, not measurable, but it's not even achievable for most people. Where the heck are you going to put a yacht? Some of you don't even live near water, right? It's just ridiculous. But you should really use second order thinking, and not just wishful thinking, second order thinking. I want this because this is going to give me this type of outcome, right? And not just it makes me feel good in the moment, because once you've been on the yacht a couple of times, you probably won't be a thrill to you. But then what comes along with that? And what's the consequence of that? And what's the feeling that comes along with the consequence of that, right? And so very specific, very measurable, very achievable, time bound too. Also, it should be some time horizon that you put on there, right? It can't be a forever vision board, because then how do you plan for forever? So when we say short term, what's short term mean to you? What's medium term? What's long term mean to you? You have to be realistic about that also. And then, like I said, you have these visual representations, but everything should make sense on the board, and be used as a visual reminder of what your plan is that you still wrote out, that's still actionable based on your action plan that you wrote out. So can it be an effective tool? For some people, it can be an effective tool. Like I said, I know some people who do a vision board every year, and without fail, the vast majority of stuff on that vision board, for them, they achieve it, and they just need that visual reminder, that visual motivation, that thing that keeps them grounded and focused and on track visually, right? But if you're not a visual person, probably won't be very effective. It'll be fun to create, maybe, or maybe not, right? But it won't be as effective as whatever your modality is. So, like I said, for me, I have to walk every single morning, to get to organize my thoughts and keep me on track, and to refocus and reorganize. And that's the other thing. You can't have a vision board that you do in January and think that it's going to stick, because the world changes, ideas change, different dynamics change. You might have to update your vision board periodically. I don't know if you want to do it 6 months, 3 months, every quarter, whatever. But a vision board in January doesn't hold, right? Just like if I had plans that are made in January, that's a projection, but as the world changes, I have to make adjustments along the way. So those are my unbiased thoughts on a vision board. I'd love to hear your thoughts on a vision board. Do you create vision boards? Has it worked for you? What are some tips that you can share with people looking to do a vision board, and some pitfalls they can avoid in doing a vision board as well? But please like, share, subscribe, keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.